guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca, and here in my little corner of the web I actually make budgeting videos, and today I am sharing my February 2022 budget with me, and it's very late. I'm actually filming this the day before we leave town. We had some unexpected things happen for February, and I can't wait to tell you about it. So I am once again using my online spreadsheet. I liked how easy that was last time, but I had also gone in and made a special spreadsheet for YouTube so that it was formatted in a way that was easier to scroll. Oh, but this time I just didn't have time. So this is how I do it for my personal use, and I figured that I would just keep it the same because it's better done than perfect. Okay, so starting right at the beginning with our income. So I've blocked out the three jobs that we have. My husband's businesses and my employment for his privacy, but I am sharing what I'm making for my business. So I have an event planning business called Shoestring Flings. If you're in the DFW area, feel free to hire me. I would love to work with you. But I'm reinvesting a lot of my money back into my business right now to help it grow, but I am taking a paycheck. So next month, or I guess in February, I am planning on taking home $671, and this is a little bit more than I have been because I just did our taxes, our personal taxes and business taxes, and I had quite a bit of a refund in there of what I had saved for my business taxes. So I'm going to use a little bit of that to give us a little February bonus, and then use the rest to reinvest into my business. I think I bought a camera, so that was really exciting, and then I also am going to use it to buy some marketing booths at some bridal shows. So we aren't expecting any miscellaneous income. So our total budgeted income for the month is $47.21, and this is much lower than usual, and here's why. So initially we were planning on going to Belize for the first 2 weeks in February. We had a planned trip because my husband used to live there and they do a band reunion. They're trying to do it every year, but COVID has kind of messed that up. But they get free lodging, and we had flight credits, so we were going to do that. But that trip got canceled because of the virus, and we kind of felt like, well, that makes sense. It's not quite safe to travel, but we thought that we'd be able to use those credits on our next trip like we had before, but I didn't realize we wouldn't be able to do that because of the kind of tickets that I'd booked. But I called them and I kind of begged them, could we please change it, please? And they gave us an exception. And then we are doing this new thing. I don't know if I mentioned it last month, but we are trying it out because we are going on a big trip this summer. We are trying to list our house on Airbnb while we are traveling so that we can make just a little bit of, cash to kind of subsidize our travel. And so I had forgotten to close our house for the time that we were going to be on our trip. We canceled the trip, but I hadn't canceled the availability, and someone booked our house for a week. And so it was going to cost us money to cancel that. So we said, what are we going to do? We could stay with Jared's parents, or we could take a little trip. But then that's when we got the exception. So we decided, you know what, let's just use this money from the Airbnb to offset the cost of lodging and use our free flights and travel somewhere else. So we are now going to Roatan, Honduras, which is a really small island. And we are leaving tomorrow. So I was trying to film this last minute. I almost didn't, but I said, I want to. So that's kind of the story on why we have lower income, because my husband is a music teacher, and he, for one of his little business things, and he gets paid for when he is there. So he's going to miss a week of that. And then he also does drafting work, and he is not going to work while he's gone. So I did basically I accounted for if he made 2/3 of the income that he usually makes, or 3/4, I guess. Yes, 3/4, because gone for 1 week. So that's kind of how I made the plan for February. So moving to the next category is our giving. So we are Christians, and we believe in tithing and giving to our local churches and nonprofits that we believe in. So we have that here, and it's all pretty self-explanatory. I have already gone in and accounted for the exact amounts that we will be that I know that we have already set up, because we have monthly gifts set up. So that's kind of why it says that we already have given $208, which we haven't yet, but I plan for that so that it's kind of like accrual accounting instead of cash accounting. I plan for expenses that we have so that when we have money come in, I don't say, oh, we got $1,000, and I say, oh, we have $800, if that makes sense. And everyone does it differently. That's how I like to do it. Okay, so then with our bills is the next category. So our mortgage, always the same, it's $1,200. Phone bill, so actually I need to edit this, so I will edit this in real time. So my phone bill is $57 now, and then Jared just started paying for his phone bill. His parents were covering it before, so his is $59. So that's actually going to be $116. So we're going to have to adjust later down. And then Wi-Fi is $71.15. Electricity, we've already gotten our bills for our utilities. So electricity is going to be $111. Water, sewer, trash is going to be $85.70. Natural gas is $31, and I'm kind of surprised that this is so low considering we use natural gas to heat our house, and we've done a lot of heating in the past month, but I also have been using a space heater in my personal office, like where I sit all day, to keep this space warmer, and I think that has made the natural gas way cheaper, and it has bumped up the electricity a little bit, but I think the electricity is a lot cheaper than natural gas, so it seems to, work well for us. And then our car insurance, I know that this is going to be $153 something, but I don't know the actual amount yet because we're renewing our policy. So I have to figure that out, but I know it's going to be around that, so I put $154. And then Jared's health insurance, always $160.37. Life insurance for two of us is $59.13. My gym membership is $21.60, so our bills total is $211.31. And then our variable expenses. So groceries, we're budgeting $450 as usual. Eating out, we're budgeting $180. And I could have adjusted these numbers based on the fact that we're going to be traveling and spending money there. And I really probably should. I'm going to go in and put $140 and I'm going to put $400. There we go. Give us a little bit more wiggle room because anything that we buy when we're traveling, like eating out while we're there or groceries that we buy while we're there are accounted for under our travel budget. So gas, we have $110, and I put a little bit more because I have a couple events in February to spend gas on. And then Jared always gets $100 for his allowance. I always get $100 for mine. Shoestring Flings is my business. I'm not putting any of our personal money towards that this month. Subscriptions. So usually we put $60 here, but in February, our Amazon Prime account renews, so I think that's $120. So I just to be super safe, I put $200 in that category. We'll probably use a little bit less, especially considering I canceled a subscription recently that was $15 a month. So that's, hopefully will come in under, but this is not normally how much we spend on subscriptions every month. And then miscellaneous, we always give ourselves $100 here. And house, this is items, like decorating items or plates, anything like that, not household items like paper towels, tissues, because I consider those part of our grocery budget, but any permanent fixtures for the house would go here. And then our sinking funds. So I have blocked out the start amount because I don't know quite yet what that will be based on, January hasn't finished yet, but as you can see, there's not a whole lot going on here. So knowing that we wouldn't have a whole lot of income in February because we were planning on, getting paid less because we're taking a trip, I actually slashed our sinking funds, and I divided out what we needed to put in these amounts, divided by 3, and I put that in January, March, and April, if that makes sense. So I bumped up those numbers so that I could not have any here, just to equal out and not put as much strain on this month. So the only thing that we are budgeting to add to is our travel fund, and this number actually needs to be adjusted because this is our kind of we do every zero-based budgeting. Just blinked in my head. It's been a day, guys, but we do zero-based budgeting, so every dollar in gets allocated somewhere. So right now, this is kind of what we're working on as our big financial goal, is saving for a huge trip that we have coming up this summer. So I need to adjust this. Let's see what my budget is saying. I have a little counter over here to tell me if my budget is balanced or not. So I need to, okay, so we can actually put $482.69 here, and that should make us have a balanced budget. And the actual is showing negative because of this giving has already been put in up here. So we're not actually in the negative, but that's why it's showing that. Okay, so back to travel. So as you can see here, we're budgeting for 482, and then over here plus would be like how much we actually are going to put in, and then minus is like how much we've spent. And usually it wouldn't be a negative number, but it is a negative number here because I'm accounting for the Airbnb income that we're going to make. Instead of like putting that as income up above, I've put it here in the same way that I do when I have like credit card reward points. I just put it as a negative in the line so that when we do spend money, it will kind of offset that. So for example, like if we had $50 of credit card points and we spent $200 that month on travel, and we were going to like redeem those credit card points for $50 of that travel, I would say $200 in my like spending tracker, which is actually right beside this on the spreadsheet, and then in the line underneath I put negative 50. And I usually do it this way just so that it doesn't mess up like our actual income. But I know that Airbnb is actual income, and we will obviously account for that come tax time, but because we're not like doing it as a business and we're not, you know, like planning on it being real income right now, I'm still accounting for it this way, and that may change, but I'm just using the way that I've always done credits. So that's kind of the explanation there as far as why it's a negative number instead of a positive number in the minus category. Okay, and then going down to savings, which is the last part of our budget. So we have a fully funded e-fund right now sitting at $10,000. So we aren't adding money to that currently. So I don't have anything budgeted. And then we are trying to build up our buffer. We have a checking account buffer separate to our emergency fund of $3,500. And for some reason, actually not the reason, it's because we have two different bank accounts and we do different things with those different bank accounts, like with different institutions. They're good for different things. So we used to have $3,500 in one account, and the other account we only used to pay for like our rent and our mortgage. And it had a really high balance in it because the people who were renting our house way back when, if you know, you know, on my channel, but gave us 6 months of rent up front. So we had a huge amount sitting in there, all of their rent for 6 months, and then it would just deplete a little bit. But now I was adding one of my paychecks from my other employer to there every month to pay for all our living expenses, but I no longer work for that employer. And like now I just have my own business in addition to my other job that I do a little bit, a couple hours a week. We also are using that account for more things. It's the funder for all of our retirement accounts and just a little bit more, which we're doing more with right now. So we need more money in that account as a buffer. So now the $3,500 has kind of been split between the two, which means that it feels like less. So we're trying to just add a little bit to it each month. So I just put for this month to add $100 to the buffer. And then that was a long way of explaining that. So sorry. And then the very last item in our budget is investments. So we are planning for $420 a month, which is not quite, you know, even 10%. I know that that's not the recommended amount. It's less, but we are working our way up. So we are trying to do as much as we can. So that is our whole budget for this month. I'm sorry that it was so scattered and all over the place. I just wanted to get it out for you guys before we left on our trip tomorrow, and you can expect my January budget wrap up when we get back, so it'll be a little late too. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.